All right, guys, initial thoughts here. So I'm looking at the 360 TBI. So the 360 TBI intake. Initial thoughts here. There's a lot of bad. There's actually a lot of good though. I mean, these are good 360 size runners from the factory. The bad here is this is the water hole, and this is a water hole on the back of the head. And over the middle of the head is this water here. Now, what this water will do is it will help once that water starts to heat up, helps keep the engine warm up that fuel during startup on the intake charge. But they also have an exhaust crossover too. It doesn't make much sense to me. Um, that's interesting. Let's take a look at that. Anyway, some of these ports, you can straighten out a lot of these bolt holes and casting issues here. And I think that's what I'm going to do with this TBI intake. I'm not sure if I'm going to... What we might do is a 4-barrel conversion to this, and I'll flip it over here so that you can look at that 4-barrel, or what I want to do for that conversion in the next clip. But so you can see this runner here. I can take out this right side wall a bit, and I can actually even straighten out the left side wall a little bit if I wanted to. I want to keep some velocity out from that bolt hole. So we want to keep the velocity up. This one I can take out that little left, whatever that thingy is there, and then let's see if we can't see in there. Yeah, you can maybe take down with my 6-inch on the far left there. You see that a little bit. I don't not going to work on the floor as much on this because of that water jacket. There's the other side of that port. So there's that. Here, oof. This one, well, it gets wide over there. Help the air turn in. I might try to take down that left or the right side cut there. Oh, and then obviously take out this bolt hole bulge. You can fill that in with JB Weld, worst case scenario. Take out that right side thing here. And I'm not trying to make a bell mouth shaped port. I'm just trying to straighten these ports out because we want a consistency of airflow. And looking at this one here, we can also do that as well. I'm going to keep an eye on this wall thickness with a caliper here as I port this wall right here out and make it straight. And I might try to see what the thickness on the wall on the far right there is and see if I can make that corner a little more round in. But these ports don't need much work. But I think if I fix a lot of these areas on these ports, even with the TBI, it would help with power. But especially if I do a 4-barrel conversion, I think it'll be decent enough for the street, which is what we're trying to do. We're not making a race truck, so I will show you in the next clip then the 4-barrel. Okay, guys, so here's the top of the TBI. You can see it has quite a good sized plenum for just like a 2-barrel TBI. So with that, so what I'm thinking about doing is doing like a 4-barrel where we just drill the holes into these. The only problem here is this is like I'm pretty sure this is some water and exhaust in here, and it would take some work and welding possibly. Otherwise, maybe what I might want to do is just do some bolts. Just fill them in with the like RTV. Fill those bolts in with RTV, and then with that you have that plate. You cut this out a little bit, and you put the 4-barrel on. So these runners, I mean, they're the standard like two-barrel kind of runners, and you could. I don't really need to open them up too much. And again, I do need to fix some of those casting flaws. I did show you guys a little bit earlier in the clip. But otherwise, even if I leave it as a TBI, I'm still going to cut down some of these areas to help with airflow. But It's kind of just to mess around and learn how to port a little bit as well. So I will do some work to this, and then I will show you guys it after I've done some work. I'll probably start with the port work. Okay, guys, back here. So I did some work on these two ports here. If you remember, they had that big bulge on the left side of the port here, and I took that down a little bit. But I gotta measure that area right where it comes to that flat level because it's the raised runner there. And just to make sure that I'm not, well, you kind of want it all the same area. It's not the very best design, but you can improve it if this is all you have. This one here, I took out that right side here, and there was a hump on the floor from this dang bolt. I didn't go through. But what I don't like about these is, if you can't tell, so there's a flat floor and then it dips down right here. It's like, I don't know. I don't think they did. They just designed this and threw it on. They didn't really test and see how things flowed. I did take out some of the casting flaws on the sides of the wall. This wall I didn't do anything to at all, really. I just cleaned out some. They had some junk over here for casting flash. And then I cut this down quite a bit. Anyways, that's the first two ports done. Well, how do you take a look at the second two ports before I get to them to cleaning? And then if I do any more modification to this port or this port, I will show you what I do as well. So looking at the second two on this side, so again, I'm gonna have to cut down that. I don't know why they did that. It didn't help much with anything. And then this port here, I'm gonna have to clean up quite a bit as well to just get it to be a straight shot, not to be bell mouth. Although it will constrict and velocity will increase, but just having like these really fast turns like this and whatnot is just not conducive to flow. And I might take out some of this casting flash on the side. But we'll see what these two ports look like, and then if I do again do any more modification to these two, I will let you guys know. I can't really tell how thick the floor is, so I'm not really going to touch that, but I'm just going to make sure that I don't really go over this. And as you can see, the gasket size on these, and that's just absolutely massive. I'm not going to go to the gasket size. I am going to port match this once I do the 308 heads, if my brother decides to use this. Otherwise, I'll leave it stock size because I know somebody might want to use this as a TBI. I'm just going to clean it up for them either way. Otherwise, it'll just be sitting on this shelf for years. Because sometimes, people like the TBI stuff because it sure sucks fuel, but it always starts. But that's what I'm going to do. And you will see the next clip. Okay, folks, so here again. So as you can see, so I cut down this wall quite a bit here. I'll just make that a straight shot. You want that to be a gradual turn, so it still turns, but I wouldn't have turned it out. I did it more of a straight shot, but for the fact you make that really wide down there, and then it constricts, and it's like, well, it's bell mouth shaped, kind of, but it's really far back, 3 inches, and actually I can do a little bit of work on this right hand side. I just want to make sure I make all the ports kind of the same size. Unless I don't have a flow bench, so I have to check that out still. But as you can see on this port, this side comes up a lot. It just doesn't make much sense to me. So what I'm going to do, after I'm done porting the gasket matching, well, not gasket matching, what I mean is clearing up these issues. What I will do after that, I am going to find which one of these ports is the widest and the widest point on that port. I'm going to set up a pair of calipers to that width, and then I'm going to open up each one of these ports to that width. And no, it's not going to be the gasket size, but they're all going to be the same size ports. And I'm going to make sure also that they're all same size squares that are way back here, which I don't know why the heck you'd change the shape, but that's what Chrysler did. And then From there, this head should be pretty, or not head, this intake should be pretty good. I am gonna do some work on that the what did I call that? The plenum, or the value there, that plenum there. I'm gonna do some work on that plenum then. And really, this is just a mild touch up on these. I'm not doing anything too drastic. It's just to help. So if you were to put these as a TBI on an engine, that they would work very well. Or or if you decide to do a 4-barrel conversion, they would also work quite well. Now they're not going to be a race or anything, but I mean, if you had a street engine, they should be pretty nice and fun. Then should add a little bit of power. Anyways, so I'm going to continue to work on these, and I'll continue to make some more cuts for this video. Okay, guys, so here I have the intake. So what I did again is I measured the smallest or the largest one of these and opened all of these up to that size. After I fixed some of the flaws in the runners here a bit. I didn't completely fix them, but that should help a lot. I mean, these things are rated 190 from the factory. It should help quite a bit. Next part you're going to see here is me working or finishing up the plenum at the top here, right underneath the TBI. There's a lot of work I can do there. And I think they have some heating boxes and some other strange things they did. I don't know why, but that'll be the next part to this video. And I did the other side for ports as well already. I'd say this helped a bit. I'm going to be interested to see what a TBI would do with this on. Stock camshaft still, I think you'd pick up some horsepower. Alright guys, so here is the plenum, and I'm pretty much done with it. I'm not too worried about some of these marks here. So what I did on the bottom there is I put a bunch of holes in there, so that when inevitably fuel gets stuck on the bottom there, what it does is it pulls up in here and then it evaporates off. It should help some, probably not much, with how bad the TBI is sometimes. Just to get that fuel atomized, and it's not like it's going to do much of anything. If you look down that port, so what I did is I angled this back like this, cut down, so there's a bolt sticking down here a little bit, but it was open already. But I cut back on these, and so the air flows in. This was a huge bulge here. So what I did is I just cut this, laid it back into the cylinder wall side. Then you can see this comes out around here down there. So there was big bulges here, and I did break through a little bit from these bolt holes. But I just made that a straight shot, and this is how it was. I didn't like cut the wall back and went like this. It was angled down, but they had this bulge, so I just cut the bulge down. Went in and I cut around the edges to make them go farther in. One thing I did do on this side, this wall was sticking out, so I cut it over so it was straight out, so we get more of that plenum volume. So you can see on this end of it. So I did the same thing here, I did the same here, and cut in. And so I didn't take like all this volume out. But what I did is just made it so it's a straight shot, so the fuel likes to go back around and then down. And then I cut, obviously, on this side, so I'm not sure if that's an EGR or what that is. I'll have to search that up. Because you have it on this side. I wonder if that doesn't heat up this here and the sides, and then also, I'm not too sure. Be kind of stupid if that's straight exhaust gas, but wouldn't surprise me. Other than that, really, this intake should be good to go. I mean, even if you did a 2-barrel swap onto this, like one of those big 2-barrels, you put on some of the 360s, or like IH 345, same exact 2-barrel. But other than that, this is pretty much as far as I'm going to take this intake. Again, I will do some measurements on these runners as they go from, well, rectangular to square up in here. I don't know why they did that. Just to make sure that I have the right dimensions for each. In worst case scenario, hopefully this is the smallest part and I don't have to open up these. But if I do, I'll make a part 2 on opening up the square part in here. And that's where I have this intake app for now. Again, this is the TBI intake, so it's a dual plane. And they were cut like this from factory, but really this is just some minor modifications to make the engine run better. I'm not sure if you could what it would be like running TBI with it the way it is. I'll have to test that someday. But I rounded all these edges out, and that should help quite a bit in an engine like this. Especially, I mean, they made 190 supposedly from factory, so that this should, on what I did, bump it up even just what I did here, because that's taking care of some of the restriction points. But again, it's a cast iron manifold. Most people aren't going to mess with it anyway. So I figured I might as well, because that's what I do. Mess with stuff that nobody else really wants to mess with. Again, I do want to thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to see more content.